So let's look at some of the most important parts of the syllabus and/or how to kick ass and get an A in this course. Now, we're going to cover where to find the syllabus, what the course objectives are, the things you absolutely need to have to take this course, the work that you're going to be doing during the various weeks of the class, and some of the most important policies. Now, very importantly, you must still read the syllabus. This little video is just an overview of some of the most important parts of the syllabus. You'll need to read the syllabus carefully so that you can complete the syllabus quiz, passing which with an 80% opens up the rest of the course materials. So go find the syllabus and read it. Now, where do you find the syllabus? Well, it's right in the content browser, right on D2L. Just below the course overview videos, you'll see the objectives for the Start Here module, a quick set of links to make sure you're in the right class, and then bam, there's a link to the syllabus, which is housed on Google Documents. So make sure you find the syllabus and read it through carefully before you take the syllabus quiz. So now, the objectives for this course. This builds upon 1001, or a couple of maybe a semester of beginning French, which you've taken elsewhere. We're going to move from some basic descriptions to detailed descriptions. You'll be able to kind of tell us some basic cause and effects for explanations. And importantly, you're going to learn how to narrate things in the past tense, specifically the travels, places you've been, and things you've visited, people you've seen. You're going to interpret and understand important parts of authentic texts, and you're going to use those authentic texts to build your empathy and make intercultural comparisons. Self-assessment, setting your own goals, marking your own progress towards those goals, and then finally making a learning portfolio at the end is an important part of the class. And also, you're going to be engaging in what's called process writing. You're going to go through and do preparatory activities before you begin composing or even making an animated presentation. And then that'll help you to gather the right kinds of information, to organize your thoughts, make a kind of first draft, and then you'll always have a chance to go back and revise the most important work you've done throughout the semester. Now, the things that you absolutely need to have in this course include Espace, Rendez-vous avec le monde francophone, 3rd edition. If you've already taken French 1001 at KSU, you have this textbook and you have access to SuperSite. That is awesome. Now, a particularity of the online section that I teach is that you must have SuperSite Plus. And you should be using the vText. They come together. SuperSite Plus adds a couple of very important elements, including things like video tutorials and access to different authentic texts within SuperSite that we utilize heavily in my version of the course. The vText is actually the online kind of digital version of the textbook, so it's totally possible for you to go and just purchase SuperSite Plus with vText, and you're going to be good to go for this class. You don't need to buy anything else. It's the cheapest way to get all that you need for this course. Now, this is an online course, so you must have a reliable internet connection. You must also have a backup for that reliable internet connection, because on Sunday afternoon, when you're trying to finish things up, your internet will die at some point in time. So always have a place where you can go or someone you can contact that you can use their internet. You will also need a computer with a microphone. There's a lot of voice recording that's done throughout the semester, so you need to have a reliable microphone. We're going to be using Adobe Spark in order to make video presentations, so you're going to need a Facebook, a Google, or an Adobe account to access it, but all of these services are completely free. Finally, you're going to need a blog. You're going to be publishing quite a bit to your blog every week, as a matter of fact. If you already have a blog that you're really happy with and you're okay with people visiting all the time, that's fantastic. You can use whatever blog that you already have. Otherwise, I heartily recommend using either Blogger or WordPress to set up a new one, and make sure that you share it with us in the proper assignment in this first module, Start Here. So there are 4 major components of the coursework you're going to be doing throughout the semester. First and foremost, I want you to take a look at the way that the grades are broken down for the course. It's pretty standard. A's go from 100 to 90, B's are in the 80s, C's are in the 70s, D's are in the 60s, but F's stop at 50. I don't assign zeros. I find that assigning zeros for incomplete or missed work creates a great big hole that it's very unfair for the student to try and dig themselves out of. Now, that said, there is no late coursework accepted. I'll talk about that in a minute when we have the most important policies. So, the 4 different components of your coursework include SuperSite, the mise en pratique, unit evaluations, and then your self-assessment. Okay, so SuperSite is just that. You need to kind of read through the assigned pages in your textbook and then complete the SuperSite activities, which should take you about 3 hours every week. The mise en pratique are the assignments and different activities that I have created on D2L. They always include a voice thread, which is a set of questions that allows you to kind of personalize and expand upon the ideas and the elements that you've prepared in SuperSite. There's an authentic text we'll be looking at and a worksheet for you to complete. And then finally, based upon that authentic text, you're going to either make a written composition or an animated presentation on your blog every week. Just as importantly, your blog post is not complete until you've made 2 substantive comments in French on your classmates' posts as well. So find 2 classmates you like to visit all the time or a couple of people you'd like to go and post on their stuff, and make sure that you're giving them feedback on what they're doing every week. Now, there are always 2 lessons. Each lesson has a set of mise en pratique activities for every unit, and then the end of every unit, so about every 3rd week, there's a unit evaluation. Unit evaluations have 3 important parts. There's an interpretive quiz based upon an authentic text, and then also based upon that same text, there's a series of voice thread questions that will lead you to either personalize the information and or to make some cultural comparisons, again, based upon the text. Finally, there's going to be a written composition, an extended one of 200 to 300 words, or another animated presentation about 2 to 3 minutes long that you are going to prepare and post to your blog at the end of the unit evaluation. About halfway through the semester, and then at the end of the semester, you're going to have a chance to go back and revise your written composition and the animated presentation that you've completed beforehand. All right. Finally, the self-assessment takes the place of a final exam. There's no final in this course. You do, however, have to, this very first week, set yourself some objectives. Make a blog post about it. Halfway through the semester, you're going to talk about how you're progressing towards those objectives. And then finally, at the end of the semester, you're going to gather up 3 examples of your work, 1 reading, 1 really cool voice thread, 1 good composition and or animated presentation, and make a blog post about how those have contributed to your learning. So now, the most important policies, there are numerous policies in this course. However, the most important policies are these. Number 1, this is an online course. This is online all the time. We will never necessarily have to see each other in person. So you must have a reliable internet connection. And this course assumes that you know how to use a web browser well. You know how to do basic things like making emails, writing emails, making attachments, downloading attachments, general basic computing stuff. Right. Please remember that you must complete all assignments on time. No late work is ever accepted in this class. Right? Assignments are always due every Sunday at 11:59 p.m. and the next module appears on Monday, 1 minute later, Monday at midnight, for every lesson. Please, when you're making the blog posts, be respectful of your fellow classmates. People are just starting out. They can be very timid. They can make some mistakes, and that's okay. They get to go back and revise those mistakes. They may voice opinions that are contrary to your own. Being able to disagree with people is very important, but being respectful with your disagreement is just as important. It is important that when you're doing your own work, that you use your own brain and not that of an automatic translator. So I highly suggest that you use a bilingual dictionary and not Google Translate or a service like Reverso. In fact, the Department of Foreign Languages considers it a breach of academic integrity to use an automatic translator of any kind or another person to complete any of your assignments. If we can prove that you have used either of those things, you will fail this class and you may be kicked out of school. It's a very serious offense. Now, that said, this course is definitely open to all. If you have any kind of special needs that are necessary, please visit the Student Disability Services and have them contact me right away so that you and I can come to an appropriate arrangement for you to take this class. I'm happy to accommodate people in any way that's possible. Finally, I'd like to talk a little bit about bonus content, including extra credit and rubrics. Extra credit is available, but you must have at least a 75% course average. So you must be at least passing this course strongly before you can be eligible for extra credit. And all extra credit is due hardline by the 27th of April. Nothing late after that. Okay. Also, there are rubrics. They are at the end of the syllabus and also posted on D2L Brightspace. All of your assignments have rubrics that are associated with them, and I strongly suggest that you check them out so that you know what it is that's expected of you for each of your assignments. So, just a last reminder that you need to read the entire syllabus. Check it out on D2L, read through it carefully, and then take the syllabus quiz. You'll be in good shape, and I look forward to interacting with you online this semester.